Good evening. We are live. It is Hangout in the Battle Pirates crib with the Battle Pirates crib crew. We have Hefe
Howdy, everybody.
and Daniel
Hi, everyone.
and myself, the BP professor. And maybe we'll get some more joiners a little later. So today we are going to talk raid. So I'll share my screen.
Okay.
And we'll get started. I don't have a flashy title today. Sorry. Lots of bug fixes. They corrected things. Let's see. So you couldn't redeem a prize if it left you with 0 bounty. I saw someone post that on Facebook. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. So if you had that example, if you had 2,400 and you wanted a prize, cash in a prize that was 2,400, it wouldn't allow you to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Dubs not paying out uranium. I didn't run into that problem. Conquest Yard getting stuck while repairing. I don't know.
That's pretty. It should be a fairly small group that ran into that problem. But
Yeah, I start mine tomorrow though.
okay, now you're only 42 days away. So
gonna be 22 days away because can now use tokens to speed up the Conquest Yard.
Okay. Oh, after the raid.
Yep.
Okay.
Mega module weight calculation error. Okay. Conquest Yard failing to appear when stashed in the base planner. I think we see a theme that the Conquest Yard was really well planned.
Well, at least they're being reactive to it because these people paid top dollar to get it.
I paid $200 and it doesn't even work right. Okay. Slow repairing PvE fleets during bounty. Rocket range boosts calculating incorrectly with a hull's built-in buff. I don't know, that one wasn't working. And then getting locked up when using a fleet repair token on a slow repairing fleet.
Yeah, I'm still running into the issue even if I'm slow repairing and I'm watching my dock at that point in time, I'll freeze up at that point.
Freeze when the repair finishes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that too.
Yeah, they need to fix that. It's a pain in the butt, especially if you're doing a 1-hour campaign.
Mm.
You know, where you have to reboot at that, reload at that point.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
And then bounty. So, how'd you guys do in bounty?
I was in Bounty Anonymous.
Okay. No bounty for you?
No
Daniel,
bounty
did you
for
play?
me either.
All right, well, I played bounty. So I thought it was okay. I mean, it was much less of a PvP event for me. My base got hit twice during the whole event, and they were just terrible fails. I mean, like one was a Liberator fleet that didn't even get close. And then I mostly did these 800-point grants every 4 hours, and then hit 85s with Mudgluts so I could bank it. So I didn't spend anything. I only hit a couple bases, and I got like 20-some thousand points. So I got a courage and the weapon and the special for the courage and a death adder an adder turret and a token. So it was all right. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't have much that I really wanted to win in there. I already have a courage that I have built, and I don't know. And the twin blade seemed like an awful lot for a hull that's very vulnerable, and at this point would carve into my shipyard time. With the 42 days for the conquest yard, I wasn't. I might have been more active in there if the conquest yard was more easily obtainable at that point.
All right.
I mean, that's just my, because the twin blade seems very very vulnerable to the emancipator. If you have a couple in
Yeah.
there, it seems like a very niche tank.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to see.
Okay.
All
Until we get
right.
the ballistic deflection panels,
Right.
which probably is what month or two away.
Could be after the raid. Who knows?
Could be an FM price.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, yeah. The thing that I was sort of annoyed about with Bounty is they claimed that you would be able to get a grant. You'd get these grants, and you could log in every other period, and it wasn't true. You had to log in during every 4-hour period, sometime during that 4-hour period, in order to get that 800 points. And if you didn't log in, you'd lose it. And that was not how it was explained on the forums.
Okay.
I put in a ticket over it, and they didn't understand. They thought I was complaining about the base, a base hit not giving me bounty, and they gave me 1,000 bounty, but I just wasn't whatever.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
it's interesting. I mean, I always thought about adopting children in order to do to build walls, but this might be another reason to adopt a couple children that can come in and claim bounty for me while I'm
every
sleeping,
4 hours. Yeah.
or while you're sleeping or working. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know. All right. Let's move on from bounty. I guess you guys are really excited to talk about it. So, yeah. And now we've got Caress of Steel. I don't know what that fade out was.
That was that's the album cover from the Rush album, Caress of Steel.
Oh, okay. Nice. All right, so that's the name of the raid. Sounds kind of weird. So, Fangtooth Depth. They have this thing about bringing a flagship.
Well, there was some part I couldn't find again, but it's written somewhere. You're only allowed to the tier of your ship is only allowed to hit up one level. So if you have tier 6s such as Fangtooth and Hunter or whatever, you're allowed to hit tier 7. If you have Tideseekers, you can't take a Tideseeker into a tier 7.
Oh.
And so the problem with the Fangtooth was if you don't have the flagship, the Phantom, what are you going to use as your flag?
Okay.
You can't use a Corvette. So you would be forced to use something like an icebreaker or something that would be very expensive to repair as your flagship. So afterwards, they made a few modifications to allow you to bring in a flagship that's a lower level than a tier 6. You see where it says tier 7 limited to tier 6 hulls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
interesting.
Yeah.
I was
I'm
kind
sorry,
of wondering. I was wondering how Tideseekers would do in that Hunter Bay target, but I guess nobody gets a chance to.
Yeah, and that's they won't have an opportunity, and I guess that's probably why it was done that way, because a lot of people use the excess Tideseeker tokens to retrofit with the Houndstooth and deal with some the Houndstooth and the PDX payload in order to modernize their Tideseekers, but it doesn't appear at this time that they'll be allowed in the tier 7/SS.
Mm-hmm. So where does the Hellwraith sit in this?
As far as ability to hit targets or its
Yeah.
success?
Well, I guess either. I mean, right? Because you don't see them in the tier 5 recommendation, and then tier 4 recommendation they go to Tiger Sharks.
Yeah, I didn't have the ability to test it. I'm just wondering if because um, the Hellwraith were equipped with non-accuracy based
Oh
flaming
yeah,
arrows. So I'm wondering if that's why they're not really making the list.
yeah. When I know I put like one fire twister on my Fangtooth fleets, and it just, I mean, when the fire twister would hit, that I would not see the health bar move at all.
Yeah, I mean the only reason I could see putting especially the fire twister on is just basically to see when you fire. If you
Yeah.
do have a little extra space, then you know, boom, you've reached the edge. You're kiting them properly once you see that because the delirium torpedoes are, depending, I guess, on your screen size and how you zoom in, are a little bit difficult to see. So I could see people putting one on one ship just as a big beacon that yes, you have gone in range.
Oh, that's interesting. I use actually this is what I use the dread field for. Is you kind of can tell as soon as they light up from the dread field, you know you don't want to get any closer.
Yeah, that's true. You don't want to get any closer, but you don't. You still have that. You've already gone too far at that point.
No, they're not. You can put them in the dread field without getting fired at.
Okay.
You still have a little bit of margin there, but um, not much more. That's kind of my point.
Okay.
Um, so yeah. All right. Anything else about this? People doing C sets are going to be really bored because they have to hit the same target over and over.
Yeah, I was trying to get confirmation on when a hit down penalty starts. I'm not certain when that's going to happen, but I'm assuming it's going to be tier 5 because
Yeah.
as you'll see, the blitz target, basically the blitz target at tier 5 says hit up multiplier applies at
Yeah.
69, and they're a little bit lower than that.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, and then we'll have blitz targets. So some people liked them. Some people, um, I guess, it just depends on what you're doing, right? You might find these easier than the A sets or something. Although I suspect with the same kinds of ships and same kinds of, we'll call it logic, um, I don't expect these to be much different than the other 80s.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't. I'm sorry, I had to do something momentarily. What did you say about the other 80s?
I just don't expect these 89s to be much different than the other 80s. You know,
Yeah.
because I mean the ships in the targets are not varying much from each other.
But we
You
did
get,
see in the other 89 from the previous raid cycle, isn't that the first time we saw the Hellstar City?
yeah, maybe they'll come up with something new for the 89, but I don't know. I think the key to these targets is you get the mortars coming at you, and you get the goblin sharks going into getting mad and flying at you, and the key is to just go across, drive perpendicular to that stuff, because if you run away they kind of tend to catch you, but if you um, both the mortar lines and the goblin sharks, but if you can sail perpendicular to the way they're going, then you can get away.
At this point, does it feel like you almost need like there's another special coming out in the FM for the Fangtooth?
I don't know.
Okay. It just seems like
I,
I don't. You can get away with less specials than 6. Some of the things you're adding on, like the passive upgrade and the sonar thing, don't really need to be on all the ships.
well, yeah, I think I haven't built. I've got 4 ready to go, and I think my 5th I'm going to put sonar on it instead of like I had what was the one that was with the Hellstar? the fire twisters.
The one that was on the house.
Hellwraith.
Oh, the Mayhem?
No, the special, the torpedo special.
Oh, Steel Fire Charge.
Yeah, that one. So I think I might replace Seal Fire Charge with a sonar on one ship.
Okay. What are your specials now that you're? Because I have. Maybe I've stripped off a lot of specials because of the flagship.
Oh, you know what? The other one that I have that maybe isn't all that useful is I have a agility system, or not agility, but scrambler.
Gun Scrambler. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because sometimes they fire torpedoes at you.
Yeah, I guess that'll be one thing that we learn, about the new targets. If how effective evade's going to be.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. So yeah, I've got Magnus and thrusters and a blade of armor, scrambler, torpedo tubes, and fire charge.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have evade on mine at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a big deal. I think that maybe that's the one to replace. I don't know.
Yeah, because we did the number. I think we ended up with, what was it, 40? You're basically adding 42% damage with the Seal Fire Charge.
Yeah. It's still pretty good.
It's pretty. I mean, it's not being calculated like the other ones. It's like 42% after all your specials.
Yeah.
Because it's all criticals.
Right.
Because it's.
I think that's pretty good. I mean, look, the faster you kill these targets, the less time you have to get cornered and less chance you have of making an error. So, I think offense is really important. I mean, that's not like new to Battle Pirates, but I do.
No, I agree. I was just. Yeah, it's just that it's Steel Fire Charge. If it's working as the blueprint says, is actually quite powerful.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Keep rolling.
Sure, let's do it.
More targets. This is all this other set bullshit stuff.
This is all repeats. The only reason I put this slide in there was the last one. We were told earlier, a couple days earlier, that there was a heads up from community manager Major Rampage. That there would be the assets would be spawning from our campaign menu or our towers, and this isn't really popping up anywhere in the briefing. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen, because also in that they told us there was going to be 4 million per asset target, and there were going to be, the slide that came up earlier, and there was going to be 2 asset targets. One was going to be specific to the hunters, and the other one was going to be specific to the Fangtooth, and there would be a 2 million point bonus. But now that we've seen the briefing, there's no mention of the campaign spawning, of the tower spawning, and the bonus is doubled for completion. It's gone from 2 million to 4 million. So now it's 4, 4, and 4 for a total of 12. So I'm not sure if everything changed or just the bonus changed, but I haven't seen anything in the actual briefing that was released at this point that indicates that these are spawning from the towers. Doesn't mean that it's not. I'm just saying I haven't seen anything to confirm that, and this using the locator to find targets of all sets or specific sets is sort of contrary to that. But the people at Kix like the copy and paste quite a bit, so I'm not sure
It's true.
where to go with this.
Yeah. I mean, if the top level targets show up on the map, if you only built hunters, or if you only built Fangtooth, you find a friend who built the other fleet and work together. You can really rack up some points. by prepping them for each other, but I guess we'll see if that works, or if they're in the campaign tower, that won't happen. So
Yeah, because there's two different strategies involved with that, so it'll be
oh
interesting
well.
to see. Interesting to see how it plays out once we actually get the information.
Yeah. All right, here's the points we were talking about. So here's the 4 million, 4 million, 4 million we were just talking about on the tier 7. Tier 6, so the individual targets pay less than that 89 blitz, but then you'll get the tier bonus, so that certainly catches you up, right? You'll get more per target overall.
Yeah, so it's about 1.2 million
Per, yeah.
per, once you've completed a set. So it's 50% more than doing the blitz target.
Yep. Tier 5, about 1 million for the whole tier. And then tier 4, well, that's 60 million per target, right?
Yeah, I don't know how I got
60K.
Okay. Yeah, okay. We can skip over that. But
okay.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that I don't know how I ended up with 24K. But yeah, I was using a calculator for the rest of it, and then this one I was like, okay, never mind.
Okay.
And but I would expect that this is where we're going to see the level hit down penalty,
right,
in tier 5, which is, I don't know. I don't know. We could talk about that more, but it's interesting because that's the only target for players that didn't get stuff built from the previous raid, which was sort of the
high-end stuff.
Yeah, the stuff to get beforehand. So if somebody's only has tide seekers,
yeah, they're getting
level whatever. There's could be a significantly less than 1 million here, tier 5.
Yeah, it pretty much sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah,
because at this, like if I look at this, right, I say, okay, I built Fangtooth, and so I looked at what I want, and maybe I'm skipping a little till prizes, but I want about 150 million points, and that's not like everything, but that's 40 targets, right? Here, right, if I've got only Tide Seekers and I didn't earn the Fangtooth or I didn't earn the Hunter yet, right, I want 40 million points to get that stuff. The Fangtooth, the weapon, and the special. So I've got to do 40 tier 5s, and that's if there's no hit down bonus, right?
Yeah.
But if there is a hit down bonus, now I've got to do, I don't know, twice as many. And that's not, targets, that's tiers, so that's times 3. That's all. Yeah. That's a big grind.
Yeah, because the hit down only impacts the actual targets, not the tier bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that, I'm just clarify for people.
Yeah. Well, maybe they can get some people to prep A sets, or I'm sorry, tier 6 sets.
Yeah. Well, you can still use the Tide Seekers to hit that. You can still hit the 6s because aren't the Tide Seekers Tide Seekers are a 5. So you can
I guess the question is, how are they going to do?
Yeah. I mean, do they have that stunning ability that we've seen, the stunning slowdown ability that we've seen before? Because a lot of people, like we mentioned earlier, a lot of people have added a lot of the hunter technology to their Tide Seekers. So I'm not sure. We'll have to see how effective they might be at tier 6.
Yep. All right. Let's talk prizes. So I was suggesting before, right? If you don't have the Fangtooth stuff, you're looking at 40 million here. The previous gen of subs, I guess, is probably not going to do very well in this raid type. So if you've got nothing, the Hellwraith is probably not the way to go. And then on the right side, you have your surface ships. Looks like the hunter path is a little cheaper, 30 million instead of 40 if you want to build hunters. And then Tideseeker is 2 million. The Garwood is not an effective weapon from what I've seen so far.
Okay.
But Advanced Concussive Payload is a really good special, even though it's a long build. So if you're missing that, you definitely want the ACP. Really, if you're going to go Tideseekers, it'd be nice if you could get the Houndstooth. But I guess it all depends on what points you can get.
Yeah, and the big issue and the big difference, especially if you only have at this point a limited number of Tideseekers, is the fact that the hunter is totally unreactive, and there's part of the mortars in there create this crazy slowdown effect that is countered by the unreactive, because the Tideseeker, besides that point, until you get close to a full fleet of hunters, the Tideseeker, besides that stat, is offensively and defensively superior until you get to the unreactive part. And if you're frozen there and you can't move, so it's going to come down to the targets in my mind, as far as how effective the Tideseekers will be with the Houndstooth and the payload. But if you've been playing for a while and already had Tideseekers, you may have 20 days worth of build tokens if you don't already have some of these higher tech hulls.
Yep.
And the nice thing about this is that if you've done the previous, the thing I'm happy about, if you've done the previous raid and you're able to do the time limited campaign, the unlock store is unlocked, and this is nothing you need to worry about. You don't need to worry about these main prizes, which is the first time that this has happened in the game. And it's the first time players have actually gotten, at least at this point, the way without knowing more, first time that they've gotten rewarded for going out and getting these prizes at a higher cost than they would be available afterwards.
But much like the government, kicks will get your money anyway, except in this case, it's points.
Yes, I was saying I haven't seen the targets yet, but I'm trying to figure out how they're going to make this work for the people that don't have them, because it's, as we'll see, like the flags aren't that much more expensive than completing the Fangtooth, the 40 million versus what we'll see later is it 60 million? Or is it just 40? Is it just 40 for the, we'll see.
Apex? Yeah, it's 40.
Yeah.
I guess it's not here yet, but yep. Yeah. All right, so I assume we're ready to move on?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, so then you got shards here. These super hulls are not ones you want, probably. Even the ghost crawler is probably obsolete at this point. Cadus is nice if you want to take the build time.
Can we complete that now? Is that a thing? Do we finally have enough?
I've seen people running them.
I know someone who's got one.
You have to pay.
Well, yeah, you can buy the shards, but I meant, could you earn all 250 yet? I honestly didn't remember.
No, not yet.
Oh, did he buy the shard? Yeah, he must have bought. I don't know.
I figure they give you option to buy the shards because people had them out at times where, with just the raid stuff alone, you couldn't physically have them.
Yeah, I haven't claimed any of them. I'm still waiting for the Katy Perry. So.
Yeah. Okay. Now the thing I do like here is what I was hoping for, is that if you got partway through that last Hidden Depths TLC and earned some Phantom Shards, then you only have to buy the ones you didn't get for 4 million each instead of paying the full 40 million for the haul. So that's kind of cool. And then there's the concussive charged armor for 8 million apiece. I guess it's kind of in the neighborhood we've seen other charged armors for.
Yeah, I wish this was in the unlocked
10 before, right?
Huh?
It was. I think it was 10 last time we saw this, right? Or is it 10 or is it 8?
But 10 was in the tech raid
Last
though. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
10, but it was in the tech raid.
Yeah,
And there were
that's, you know,
TLCs with which you could get some.
yeah, that was the point I was
Well,
going to bring
that's a big
up. That these aren't, you know, like Larry, you have 300 each, right?
I have 14 CT armors in inventory because I got some in the campaign, and then I bought some in the tech raid, and then I've only used 4 so far. So what I'm looking at is like I only need 2 more to be able to build 2 fleets and fully outfit them.
It's important that if you did that entire campaign, you have a Phantom Fangtooth, and if you did all the masteries of the other one, if you did everything, you will have 19 CTs total. And that's going to be interesting a little later when we look at the unlock store. Because you'd think that, oh, I have the flagship for the fleet that I want, and I have enough charged armors to put on the fleet. What more could I need? Well, that they'll get you.
All right,
There's
so
still
with
plenty
that,
of points for those people too.
we got the unlock store. So we got the ship build tokens. That's a shade under 20 for 5 days of build, 5.5 days of build. The CTX Prime, which I feel like the whole Zelo strategy is a loser strategy. Because if you're building Zelos and refitting them for each raid type, you then don't have a fleet to do the targets that fall behind in the chores and the TLCs. But you know, if that's your thing, then go for it, loser.
Wow.
Then the Apex Apex Hunter for 40 million. I'm sorry, did I call our viewers losers? I hope not.
I mean, Kix is screwing over the generous people enough already. So,
all right. I just like they brought out these generalist hulls with the idea that you could just build them and refit them, and it just was such a wrong idea.
it was a cool idea, but they executed it in a manner. Dumpster fire? Can we, dumpster fire? It's just not working.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. You can buy a whole bunch of courages, which I probably would have rather bought other stuff in the bounty store and spent 10 million points on this stuff for raid points. But oh well, my bad for spending my points right away.
If you did spend and you qualify for support, people are sending in tickets. I'm not sure how those tickets are being resolved, but I guess there is some sort of claim to stand on if you redeemed a courage preemptively and now you see it in the unlock store and you want your bounty back. You can at least try.
Yeah, I guess. Somebody in my alliance was saying, well, I don't want to redeem a courage if it's going to show up in this raid. And so I said, okay, well then just wait. Don't redeem your points. And I think that's what he did. I should have listened to my own advice. But anyway, that's what I did in bounty. So I don't need
I like how Kix is working on a lot of impulse buys, and yet they're punishing impulse buys at the same time with things like this.
Yeah, I do. This is maybe the second time in as many weeks that I've just had some regret, like because I bought some build tokens in the LTO during the hidden depths. I bought 5 days of tokens, which wasn't all that much money, but it's not something I like to do. Anyway,
that's always for a discount. That's okay.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. You got the old style charge, the M and 5X armors charged. Is that kind of what you were getting at, Brian?
No, I think it would be the next slide, actually. It's got structure build tokens and Hunter Mark 1 build tokens, which I might have to flip tables again at. But no, this set here is really good. Same ship build, cheap charged armors. I didn't expect the bounty prizes to be back so soon, if I'm completely honest, because it's been a month and a half. But we'll be back in a raid so soon. It's been a month and a half.
Right.
I think all of these are really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one thing that's missing from here is the fact that they've included the M but not the corrosive.
Yeah,
'Cause a
I
lot of people
think
are
they
still
were.
working on their Skyfires, and I'm just
Oh,
curious why the M is in here at
I
all
would think
without the corrosive.
CO.
M and X are for the Forsaken mission, and I think
Okay.
they want to keep those available on a consistent basis.
Okay, makes sense.
And that's all I got.
Okay,
Mhm.
no, that's a fair question. That's a fair answer. All right, let's go to the next slide. Phantom Hellwraith, no. SL Armor, no. Gales, maybe if you need them. Hydro
Not for
Resistors.
4.5 million.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe if you
That's very
really, really
expensive.
need them.
That's really expensive.
Yeah.
And people look at your old Punishers. You could probably get 5 of them out of there.
Yeah, I've scrapped ships to get Hydro Resistors recently. Or not just to get Hydro Resistors, but yeah. So the new breed of turrets is back. I think they were 5 million last time, so now they're 4 million. I guess the early reviews are the Cataclysm. The Epic mortar is definitely epic. The Cannibal Wendigo, maybe not so much. And the countermeasures, I don't know yet. Haven't heard much.
Oh, I haven't gone through the game. Did they actually? I haven't gone through the blueprints that much today. Did they actually? This relates back to the Cataclysm mortar. Did they actually include projectile speed in the blueprints at this point?
It's on.
Well,
If
They
you can
told
see
us
the
they were
courage,
going
it's
to.
on that. Like it's on
Okay.
the blueprint of the courage, but I'll take another look.
Yeah, because that was
The
one of
courage death weapon had a projectile speed of 500.
Okay. Yeah,
It is so fast, you guys.
yeah, because this would have been something that would have, like as opposed to the regular cat mortar, the epic cat mortar, the big difference was projectile speed,
yeah,
from what I can tell, and it would have sold it better, I think, in the last raid if people knew how much faster it was than the original. That it can
It's
Yes.
on
actually.
the
it is.
it's on the Catmorts. Yep.
Okay,
So
what's
the
a cat mort? What's a
Epic-
cat mort? What's a cat mort?
The
The
Epic
original is 110. The epic is 370.
yeah,
Okay, so it's
that's really fast.
Yeah, almost 3.5 times as fast.
Well, I mean,
Oh, a
370
little
is
over
fast
3.
for any weapon. I mean, most weapons are in the 100 to 200 range, you know, the mortar and whatever. So 370 is really fast,
Yeah.
which you see when you have an epic Cataclysm mortar in your base.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are
Yeah,
so
but-
good.
Attacking.
But I'm just saying, as far as like a sales point,
Yeah,
when you don't have it, you don't have that information when you make the decision to buy it in the store. It's sort of like you don't have build times on your turrets before you claim them. If it's new, you don't know
Yeah.
what the build time's going to be, because that was one of the things that was coming in with the adder. Like, okay, was it going to have the old build times? Is it going to have the new build times? But it was pretty close to the new build times.
Yep.
So, okay.
All right, and then we've got some hull-specific tokens. The Hunter, 4 million per day, which is more expensive than the general token. Then you got,
Objectively wrong, objectively improper. Thank you,
Well,
Larry.
it's if I can get 10 of them.
yeah, I mean,
They should never. No, they should be 3 million. A generic or a hull specific build token should never be more expensive than a generic build token. I'm sorry, that's just wrong from all areas of game design and math.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
or at least the same, because you're only allowed to get three of the other ones, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean that's controlled by Kixeye anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like they control these amounts anyway. They could have set the Hunter Mark 1 to 3 and had it at 4 million if they wanted.
Yeah.
All right. Tideseeker and Hellwraith tokens. Again, Hellwraith probably not helping you this raid cycle, but Tideseeker might. And then the big one, you can get 10 2-day build tokens, and they're 5 million each. I know I'll be redeeming those because I'm starting my Conquest Yard tomorrow.
So if you had done the all the campaigns and gotten the Phantom Fangtooth and all the charged armors and everything, and we're thinking that maybe you could take this raid off between the S set splitting into two based on the fleet, which I'm sure you have already talked about,
Yep.
and this, you actually have a lot to grind for still. Even though that was, it's like a 60 million point reduction or something.
Yeah.
And you still have all this to get.
Right. I'm in that position of having gotten everything, and I'm still looking at maybe 160, 170 million points, which means I'll have to do 40-ish of those S targets.
And if you didn't have that done, again, just an estimate of 60 million, that's 15 more S targets.
Yeah. Well, and if I didn't have Fangtooth, then there's no way I'm going to be doing that many. Oh well. All right. Anything else on this unlock store?
It is interesting. We continue to see the trend, but the fact that they make it much easier to build the, I don't even know what word, I call it the beer hall, as opposed to the Adderall hall. They make it much easier to build them through tokens everywhere. The hunter is so much easier to complete than the Fangtooths because of all the tokens between the TLCs and the raids. I mean, it does require a full fleet of them to be maximally effective, but there's no Fangtooth tokens here. I mean,
Yeah,
I would expect there to be, because we haven't seen that before. I mean, we might see them in TLCs in a couple of months, but I just don't understand the logic behind it personally.
Well, sure, pay to play.
No, but you're paying to play. I mean, no, it's not that, because the Skyfire was, at this point is a more effective haul. And so you're not paying to play. You're paying to, I don't even know, get jerked around on these from raid to raid. I'm just not certain the logic behind it, or it could go back to their love of cut and paste and repeat what we've done in the past that maybe worked and sometimes definitely didn't work.
Is it pay to not fall into a black hole of which your demise in the game is inescapable?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Rum, you're doing all right. You sound a little bitter today.
Oh, rum's not bitter at all today. You deal with the public every day. Give me a break. It's such a joy.
I'm so glad I don't deal with the general public.
Amen.
Yeah, Rum? Or, excuse me, yeah, Brian?
No, I work at a public library.
Oh, you said amen. I thought you said, hey, man. I was
Oh,
going,
no.
I work in a locked basement.
dude, I'd trade you any day of the week and probably pay you to do that.
That sounds interesting if slightly terrifying. I hope you have a key.
I do.
Can you leave?
I do, yes. I can get in and out, but like even most of the other people that work in the building can't get in and out, so that's pretty cool.
Ooh.
As far as working in a library, on the internet, I've seen some of those librarian girls. You're in a good spot there, brother.
Yeah, I'm sure they all look like that.
Oh yeah,
I cannot overemphasize how much I am about to disappoint you right now.
They're probably more like Night Vale librarians. Okay.
I love
Moving
my
on.
job. I love my job. I love my job.
I love my job. I love my job. Yeah.
And also, I warn all you gentlemen: do not go to a strip joint at lunchtime.
Don't order the full day.
Yeah. You can go there at happy hour and afterwards. Don't go to the strip joint at lunch.
Are you saying
some things cannot be unseen?
The quality of the
So the
performers
Apex
are a
Hunter
little...
has a lot longer build time than its cousin, the Hunter Mark I. This is consistent with flagships that we've seen.
Yes.
Very true.
Yes, it is.
In addition, you will note the special abilities in the top right corner actually The
Don't
the
do
Hunter Mark
squat.
1 in what?
Nothing. Go ahead.
The Hunter Mark 1 in game has had the blueprint text updated. The Hunter Mark 1 bonuses will apply to this as well. And that's
Okay.
important because that's a lot of
That is-
buffs.
Yeah.
In the middle there, you'll see a sonar range of 64. That's good.
Yeah.
Doesn't have thermal, but it has sonar. You know what has thermal?
Visago's prototype, Hunter.
Yes, but that's not the answer I was looking for. The
Oh.
answer I was looking for is the Zelos CTX Prime.
Nice.
Fuck the Zelo CTX
What's
Prime.
the range on the CTX?
I think the thermal is 80 and the sonar is 90.
Wow.
Here, wait. I'll just go there real quick. Yeah. Sonar 90, thermal 80.
Well,
Yeah.
the range on the weapon is probably 90 or better.
Well, so wait a minute. So both of these ships are vulnerable to high cloak fleets.
If they have a high visible range and no cloak efficiency, technically the answer is no. If the
Right.
raid targets do.
So
But I'm saying like player subs. If you want to hunt down player subs, because I
Yeah.
thought these
Oh, yeah,
hunters
you
were
are.
supposed to be good against player subs.
Well,
Yeah.
they should be.
I thought
they
too.
lied. They lied straight up on that. No,
I
you're
thought this
screwed.
I thought
Yeah.
this was going to be able to see subs on the map as well.
If you have no,
Nope.
then I don't think they ever said that. If you have sonic targeting and your opponent has no cloak efficiency, then you're fine. The problem is you're both dealing concussive damage to each other, of which you have incredibly high resistances for.
Oh, okay. So
that's
they'll
another
be able
problem.
to shoot at you, but they won't be able to sink you in this
Well, you have
hunter.
the hunters have 1,000 ship deflection and probably higher resistances than you could make in a Fangtooth
Yeah.
fleet. So
You know
this
what?
probably comes out ahead, but it's going to take a while.
But if the Fangtooth never surfaces, when is this guy ever going to shoot at the Fangtooth? If you don't
If you
see
can't
it.
see it, right.
You need to have sonic targeting in particular. Then you have sonar 104. And the Fangtooth need to have 0 cloak efficiency.
Right.
That
but,
is the only way.
Yeah,
If
but
they have
I
Magnus,
mean,
you're
look,
screwed.
if you're putting Magnus 2, Magnus 3, you got 75%. Your effective range is going to be what, 64 plus 40 plus 60 visible range. That's what, 160. Then you take it to 75% cloak, and you got to get to within 40 of a Fangtooth to see it. Good
Oh,
luck.
yeah, you have absolutely no chance if they're building with cloak efficiency. You're screwed. They have to
Larry?
fall asleep at the keyboard.
Larry,
Yeah.
do they have waterboarding facilities at your basement?
No.
Can you create some?
Only on the weekends.
I want to waterboard all the idiots at Kickside and see who's coming up with all this crap.
I can neither confirm
I mean,
nor deny
I
the presence
already-
of waterboarding facilities in the Warlock facility
On the weekends.
I mean,
on the weekend.
I could do my rant again about 4 million for the hunter build token, but I really don't want to.
Yeah, I mean the other thing I find interesting, and it doesn't just relate to the Apex hunter, but all the hunters. Under the special abilities, this splash damage reduction of plus 400, it still shows up unless they changed it today.
Where do you see plus 400?
40.
40.
40%.
Yeah, plus 40. Plus 40. Well, it ends up being plus 200 because it calculates as additive. When you look at the display, it's most easily seen with the gluttony. If you start throwing so there's no reason that this should be additive. It should be multiplicative with
Yep.
and
Well,
because
I mean,
because right now
they're-
you're plus 200. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
well, they're really bad at fixing stats that should be either additive or multiplicative, and they are the opposite of what they should be. See also advanced
or
torpedo
they did what
tubes.
they did most recently, where they added them together.
They do not give a fuck.
Where they've taken
Well put, Brian.
and just combine them and to make some sort of odd love child.
based on what we've seen lately, I think these guys are sitting back. They're getting high on California weed. They're going, how can we piss the guys off on the shows so that they go into a rant and we can laugh? Because they sit there and laugh at us. Because they do this every freaking month for the last 6 months. Something is screwed up.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, recreational use is going to be illegal at the start of next year. They're
Really?
getting a jump. I think so.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be illegal or illegal?
legal.
Okay, I thought you said
Now,
illegal.
now it's medical, but that's kind of a joke of a thing. You can just
Yeah.
go and get one. But anyway, it's either that or like they hired college dropouts. Like they somehow thought in any sense of game design ever that 4 million for a ship specific build token over 3.5 for a generic, when they don't care about ship build token economy because there's a 15-day range of tokens you could get in those chests. Like they're introducing such heavy RNG that they don't care about the economy. So you can't even make the economy argument. I'm sorry, I said I wouldn't talk about it. Here I am talking about it. Reconstruction matrix, bottom right. This is basically a Skyfire lead for your hunters.
Yep.
It's really good. Really, really good.
But instead of repairing to 75%, this one only goes to 50%, even though the transfer efficiency is better.
Yeah,
That's intentional.
Well, sure. Any one of these subs gets close enough, they can do probably 50% damage and kill you in any one shot. So you've taken a
No, not with all that concussive defense.
Not if you put like actual armor on your ships.
okay. It was cheaper to repair the Skyfires than it'll be to repair these guys, right?
Yeah.
No, it's the same. They're both 3 hour.
Oh,
Here,
well,
let's go to the next
But-
page.
but you have to repair half of the
You have to repair
dead hunters as opposed to a quarter of the dead Skyfires.
exactly.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think they figured that out after the
Oh.
last raid of the cycle. Because nobody was actually repairing the Skyfires unless it was
Right.
overnight. They just
Exactly.
repaired the flag and had them go out. And that's even more, that's compounded by the use of charge based on percent current health when you start a map. You're going to have a lot less charge. So I'm not 100% sure that you're going to be able to live through a target if you start with every hunter at half.
That was my
Just saying.
point. More repair. It's going to cost you more to repair this fleet than it did the Skyfires.
I mean, the Skyfires kind of felt like legal cheating. Yeah, I'll go out and just wreck everything up and have...
No, I think that was Rakin throwing us a bone, getting around the guys that do the product monetizing, and then they said, well, we're not going to do that anymore. I still kind of like Rakin at times.
I mean, it's a really cool ship, and I like the idea, but it felt it felt too good for this game.
Mm-hmm.
It felt reasonably not awful, so they had to stop it.
So Rakin can put that on his resume. I am able to please the players.
Can please some of the people some of the time.
Can please most of the people most of the time.
Yeah, and the transfer efficiency only gets you part of the way there because 95% of 140K is 133. So you're not getting all the way down there. And then, what you guys are talking about as far as when it's going to start repairing and repair up to is the 50% versus the 75%. And it really depends on how difficult the target's going to be. Can you go in there with a half repaired?
And the hunter is a Drac ship, and the Gutspill is a Legion ship, right?
Reaver.
Reaver. Okay, sorry. Yeah,
Look
so
at
the
the
Drac.
picture. The left is the Drac, obviously. Right's the Reaver.
Yeah, the Drac has Draconians have perfected transfers without entropy. They've solved it. We're all doomed.
Well, yeah, because the Reavers are always just throwing stuff together in some sort of half-ass way, and a lot of times they get them to work.
I think we can change that to half kicks that way.
All right, but yeah,
I just wanted to make the entropy joke. I'm just so happy I could do that here.
yeah. Everybody loves to make entropy jokes.
Okay. Do you have any more entropy jokes you could tell us? Please tell us more entropy jokes.
No, I'm just like, I'm a nerd. I'm doing this. And then
All right.
I mean,
All right. Zelo CTX Prime. Well,
I am really surprised how far Amazon has gone after they bought Whole Foods. Now they got the Zelo CTX Prime, they have the Fresh Prime, and then you're just regular Amazon Prime for your
The
shipping.
Prime.
It's amazing how much Jeff Zelos is doing.
yeah, I mean, it's a giant.
Wait, is that his last name? Jeff
Bezos.
Jeff Bezos.
Bezos. Okay, it's close enough to Zelos.
Bezos.
Probably if you translate
The
that to a different
copyright
language.
friendly version of the Bezos.
Yeah,
speaking of copyright friendly versions. Oh wait, never mind.
The giant floating Cheeto.
Yeah. Floating Cheeto. Hi, George.
What's up, guys?
George.
Just when we came in talking about copyright friendly stuff, George pops on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I already gave you guys my opinion on the Zelos. I think the whole Zelos strategy is a loser. But if you want to build Zelos just for this kind of target, then this will supercharge your Zelos for skirmish targets. Good luck, sucker.
Yeah, only for the A sets. You can't even use it in anything else. I mean, you can
Oh,
use it
so
in
now
drones, I
instead of
guess.
having the nerf field, it's tier locked.
Yep.
It is literally banned from entering.
Yeah,
Wow.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
bullshit. Yeah, that's some bullshit.
So
Nice
straight up
build.
bullshit.
Nice build time for a flagship, though. It's under 10 days and like four-ish days more than a normal ship. It'd be nice if we could get that for the Phantom Fangtooth or the Apex Hunter, which are 10 days more than their, whatever.
Well, I mean, now that the flagships are built only, with specificity in mind now, because you can't use them generally, they should have already cut these things down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have lowered the repair on the Harlock's Tideseeker, I don't know, over a year ago, but they didn't do that
Yeah.
either. I like how their complaint, like, they themselves have said, yeah, the Harlock's Tideseeker's repair time sucks. You can fix it. You can go into the code and fix it. We can't do that. Like, how is this not solved?
Yeah, and I mean, and this thing, where's the thermal and the sonar on this thing?
Yeah,
90 and 80.
I already
And
mentioned
how
that,
much is on the ATX? You got it? You already got it, Brian?
Yeah, get wrecked, Apex Hunter. And we also talked about how if you're hunting player-based subfleets, you are almost always 100% screwed because there's no thermal on any of them. So they just put Magnus Drive on, and it's a sad day for all involved.
Yep. All right. Are we done with the Zelos?
Yeah,
I like it.
awesome.
I just don't think it's worth building.
Well, yeah.
It's a stillbirth.
And that's it for the slides.
So has there been any kind of a preview for the targets or anything for this raid?
No.
Yes, there was a closed preview.
Are there any surprises that we're looking at?
I could neither confirm nor deny the presence of surprises.
Could you tell me what you mean by surprise? Define surprise.
Just typically surprise. You're driving up, all of a sudden, oh look, a new bow. Oh, wait, I'm dead. What the hell? Or are there turrets in there that you can't hit because you don't have any
I was
land-based
trolling.
weapons?
I was trolling. It's okay.
How about we go? It's a subject that we can't discuss at all. So, how's that?
I guess that'll work. Which means there is one present for all those.
You can believe whatever you want. As the
Yeah,
media
that's
these days
been-
proves.
That's been allowed for about somewhere close to a year. You can believe whatever you want.
There was some guy that was talking about how we have one S set or one target for each fleet now. Thought that may be doubling to 4. And as I understand it, that was called a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I mean, if they better not do that.
Like that.
So now you're talking
That
about
was following mathematical trends from behavior observed in the past. Like
And it
that
was
is
called
literally the
yeah.
opposite of conspiracy theory. Like proven by math and your own behavior. Whoever said that needs to shut the fuck up. They're wrong. Like idiot.
Hosh! All right, we're all done. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Not everybody.
Yeah, with Hollis we have to save for the after show, so the show doesn't get booted off of YouTube.
Yep.
You know we're still on and live because it wasn't nines.
Actually,
Hollis, how are you doing with the? What do you think about the raid prizes and what's coming up?
I want to know what Hosh is
Oh,
going
no.
to do. What is he going to do because he can't merc now?
Who said I
Can
can't?
you or can you not?
I mean, you could do it with the A sets, but I mean, damn.
who wants to spend 500 hours doing it?
But how? I mean, there's nothing in the briefing that Rampage put a post out 3 days ago saying there's going to come out of the towers, and there were going to be 4, 4, and 2 for the S sets, but the 4, 4, and 2 is proven not to be true. And if you read through the briefing, it tells you that you can find everything in the locator. So I'm not even sure that that's going to hold true based on the briefing. But as we've talked about before, they have a real love of copy and paste. And
Yeah, I
don't
mean
even know
technically
what's
you
true.
can't because you can't find campaign targets in your locator. They're in the campaign tower.
Right. So
Therefore this is false.
just here's the
Oh hey.
post for those who don't have it. In our next raid event, we're going to have 2 S targets, which will live in the campaign menu. One specific for Fangtooth and one specific for Hunter.
Bogus.
Heinous.
Yep.
And if you destroy... Okay, I was going to read the rest of it, but okay.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Oh.
The rest of it afterwards
you,
is
Hefe.
false. The rest of it
All right,
afterwards
here we
wasn't
go.
true.
Share it again.
So I'm trying to figure out what
Yes.
point. If you can, you will get 4,000 for either target, and then you will get an additional 2 million points.
But he very specifically says these are preliminary, which may change. So they changed it.
4, 4, and 4, right?
Yeah.
It's 4, 4,
They
and 4,
doubled
but
down.
Really
Yeah.
stupid. I mean, why? Oh, God.
I can understand maybe how they would think that the solution to we don't want to have to build both fleets would be, oh, now you can use either one you want. The problem is the incentive for us to build both still exists. And that was told to them in response to that initial briefing right there. Like, I can understand a certain miscommunication, but we clarified our point, and then they did that. Then they doubled it down to 4 million.
I mean, it was absolutely universal. Like, there was nobody that was like, "Oh, that's a good idea," right? Everyone was like, "Why is there? Get rid of the bonus."
Yay,
and
I'm so
instead
glad
of
we did.
but
and instead of
you-
listening to the players, they're like, "Oh, screw you guys! We're just going to double the bonus instead." What?
Yeah,
but if you
they're
look at the briefing, there's nothing that confirms what he said. I mean, the bonus is different, and it also says you can find everything through the locator. So we don't know until we see it. As far as I
if
know.
the targets are called Hunter or Hunter Bay and
Hunter Bay,
Fangtooth Depths.
I do have a couple of fans in my house from Hunter
Yeah.
Bay. Do you, Larry?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
No, when the targets are specifically called that,
Right there.
yeah, when the targets are specifically named by the name of the hull, that's a pretty strong indication that they're only meant for that target.
It's a nice Hunter Bay there.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to distract.
I was done speaking.
is there anything in the story right now that indicates why they're working together, the Scourge and the Draconians?
Well, I mean, it said that there was where was the thing? They said something like there's something more behind that relationship or something, and Visago got killed last time, so maybe them two are having an affair. I mean, who knows?
Oh, that Greta Spader.
I know.
Greta likes
She's
the
a
guts
dirty
move.
whore.
So I ain't saying she's a gold digger.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
She's
I
an
think
uranium
I
digger.
think if you were with the leader of the Scourge with their corrosive and underwater, I think you're going to catch several diseases.
Mhm.
Was that someone trying to attract Greta?
That
Yes.
that was the Darth Vader, the Isurus impression there.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the offensive line coach for the Dolphins. But I'm not sure everybody. I think
I didn't
Rum.
get that.
No, I didn't get it.
Oh, you missed that video? That was hilarious.
I guess.
Oh,
I don't know.
he was.
I must have missed it.
He Facebooked his stripper girlfriend in Vegas,
Doing
and he
cocaine.
was getting ready to go to a meeting. He was in the Dolphins. He's the offensive line coach, getting like.
Oh,
two,
wait, he
three-
was starting coke or something.
yeah. That's
That's
also
right.
what it sounded like. What you're doing, yeah.
Oh,
Hey, I just have a quick question, Jeff. Why do you say that it's not in the release notes? Because underneath the target it says specific Fangtooth and Hunter MK1 targets will be available in the campaign menu.
Yeah, it's there. I just couldn't find the exact proof.
Because it also says. Let me see. It also says. Which
oh
part?
yeah. Here.
Under targets, it says specific Fangtooth and Hunter MK1 targets will be available in the campaign menu.
I'm sharing it.
Okay, because it also says further down, everything's going to be available. You go further down right above uranium. Use the locator to find targets of all sets or specific sets.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the sets, though. Even
That's
though
the set. S sets is a set, right?
I mean, if they're calling a set bonus,
it would
well,
have to
tier
be a set.
7. Yeah, they call them tiers now, but they use the same wording as the other sets.
They're just a mess. Let's
Yep.
just agree they're a mess.
Yeah, I
Agreed.
mean,
Fully agreed.
I called out their math failures about an hour ago, and now I'm going to call out their English and basic computer knowledge failures.
Okay.
I'm still really surprised that they didn't think, because when they initially posted this entire briefing, there was no clarification on the flagship for the Fangtooth target. And if nobody caught that, like, that's the first thing everyone thought of when they saw that. It's like, wait, we need the Phantom Fangtooth? We need that?
To hit the
And they
target.
didn't even think about that. That's like thought number 1.
Well, I mean,
You
you
could
can
have
also
used
look
an
at
icebreaker.
I mean, yes.
an
Could
icebreaker.
use a battle bar J.
Yeah.
Actually,
No. Tier
no,
6.
wait.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, limited to tier 6 holes, not just tier 6 skirmish. Okay. Whew.
Yeah. But I mean, the other thing is too is they had the Fangtooth thing where, if you look at the blueprint, it's an unlimited limited print, and then there was like, on the forums like, oh no, you can only have one. Well, which one is it? And eventually, hell, I think the only time we found out that it was an actual error on the print was during the TFC show when Laredo was like, oh yeah, they're fixing the print. Well, why in the hell don't you guys come out and like say that somewhere clear?
Because they're kick side.
It's a mess. It's like Larry said, just a damn hot mess.
Yeah, and they love the copy and paste. So
Yeah, but that's not a copy and paste issue. That one, like the print itself, is set up just like the Reyna's. I have 2 Reyna Rages. You're not limited. You just have to have the print for each one. That's not the only hull that we've seen like that. So when you look at the print for the Fangtooth, it looks just like that. You have the amount of prints you got and how many you've built. And apparently that's not the way it was intended, I guess. I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff like that lately. A lot of stuff like that lately.
Yeah.
Do not give a fuck.
All right, I'm sharing something else.
There you go.
Nice.
You're gonna send a roll of that over to Cali for him. Did you guys?
We're
You know
at the
what?
next
Actually,
town hall meeting.
yeah. You know, I'm kind of curious. Did
So
you
when
guys?
a girl calls me that, that's not a good thing, right?
No.
Right.
Okay, just making sure.
So did you guys discuss the whole fact that they keep on boxing us in and all this stuff, and that we can't bring in Tide Seekers because they want us to have a good gaming experience rather than just let us fucking play?
That was not specifically discussed recently.
But I think it's because if you turn Tide Seekers in there, it'll probably be destroyed and you'll have a bad experience.
Well, there's
No,
that thing that's
I don't know about
associated
that.
with the mortars.
Right, because then you'll be out for a day repairing your Tide Seekers.
No, I think what you do. Okay, so the strat for the first raid. So you know how you have the Houndstooth, and your you have much more weapon slots on the Tide Seeker, and you have a much higher concussive damage weapon bonus on the Tide Seeker. Like Tide Seekers, and in addition, you have very high resistances because of there's the Bloodthirst. They have high inherent resistance, and you could increase them further with the Harlock's Tide Seeker. Like, I could easily see if you put the Houndstooth and charged armors on Tide Seekers with tokens that you got for cheap, you could probably go in and just smash a hunter-based target up.
Yeah,
You've got double the weapons, and you've got so much more damage. And resistance is comparable except for the deflection itself, but the charge from the charged armor is going to be taking care of that. I think they didn't want people to beat him for cheap.
Can I throw something else out in this whole mix? Right? Anybody that still has an Aegis, why don't you take a look at what that thing does too? Up until you get Bloodthirst, that's a really nice buff to Tide Seeker. Just saying.
And it's nowhere near as long to repair. Right?
That's the thing, is that there are ways to actually be able to play the game, but we're not even given the option to play it. Why do you want to limit participation in a game? That's like anathema to a gaming company's want in a game, right? You want your players to participate, not be blocked out of it. You don't preclude them from areas.
Well, you preclude the non-coiners.
Challenge accepted.
Hey,
Well,
you can be a coiner and use the Tide Seekers. I mean, you'd have to coin some of this stuff to actually get it to work, but I mean, there's some good combinations that are out there that you can use.
I mean, it's for non-corners in particular. The game is getting far more difficult because they're increasing the build time so much on everything that you have to make choices that would theoretically be seen as strategic, but when you give us a basic requirement now to build 2 fleets because the bonus is so much, it's the equivalent of another target. You're doing a target for free if you have both fleets built. And when you give RNG for token dropping for build times, like, it's not really even a strategy game anymore because you might not even have enough to build, not because you weren't good enough, but because you were unlucky. And at that point, and because there's such heavy incentives to build both fleets, you're hamstringing the people that can only build one fleet to being able to do a third of what both can, but you're limiting the ability to do both unless you coin to build both or get lucky with structure or hunter build tokens. Like, that's not a strategy game anymore. It's kind of like poker. You could win with strategy, but there's a significant element of luck in the game.
Yeah, it's like.
Hey, I'm just going to throw this out here. If you do want some entertainment, do Google image search on Hot Mess.
No.
I am not accepting that challenge at
people
all.
trust Larry. If I said that, it would don't do this at work and whatnot.
Sorry. All right,
It's
that's
okay,
enough of that.
people trust you. They don't trust me.
It's not that bad. It's just kind of entertaining.
Okay, I haven't done it. You know, I'm afraid.
Is Courtney Love on the first page or something? I mean, I'm just curious.
I think I saw Courtney Love in there somewhere. Yeah.
That's awesome.
now that you mention it, yeah. All right.
Wait, so how long have you been Googling this?
I don't know. You guys have been, well, I Googled it. That picture I put up was like, when I started, I've just been kind of scrolling through as you guys have been yapping about two fleets and blah, 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 and Kickside Hot Mess.
And Hunter Bay is checking out fan prices.
No, I'm not really looking at Hunter Bay fan prices. No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, in
if
defense
you've already
of
bought them and they're
Kickstarter,
working, you don't need to replace them.
in defense
So
of
that's a testament
Kickstarter
to the
here,
longevity of Hunter Bay fans.
Hold on, I want to hear a defense of
We
Kickstarter.
don't want to hear
built
that.
a couple.
Oh wait, what?
No, no, no,
I
no.
want to hear. I want to hear this defense of Kickstarter. I got to hear this.
I mean, they have to reward the people that did both fleets, that built both fleets early, right?
But why would you ever consider building both fleets early? Why would you
Because
spend all that?
You have money that you're either going to light on fire or build both fleets.
Yeah.
They're already rewarded though. They have both fleets.
Right.
Yeah, like
I mean,
and
that's
and you
that's
and
the
it was
reward.
seen, especially in the TLCs. I was lucky enough to get two fleets, and I swapped between them. I would take my Skyfires in for this set of drones here and this set of drones here, and then I'd pull them out and put my Phoenixes in and do this thing over here and kill the pancakes and kill the root off, and then I bring the Skyfires back in and do that. Like, they're rewarded. They can do fantastically well in TLCs and other things like map targets that might include the assault type. Like,
Right,
they have their reward.
But that's like later, right? I mean, if you have just one kind of top-end target, then they're not rewarding those people yet. Those people that coined them within 1 week of being able to earn it.
Yeah.
2
Then they
weeks.
can go like build their conquest yard or something, or up their turrets to level 9, or put
if
new
you
turrets
want
on
to-
the turrets.
No, if you want to reward people that are going to coin heavy, right? You don't do it like this. What you do is you go into, where that shop is where you can buy coin, right? And you want to buy some more coin, you increase the amount that you get if the more you get. Instead of, 105 gold, you give them 120 gold for $10. Instead of 2,500 gold for $200, I mean, you want to blow $200, here's 3,500 gold. I mean, that's how you reward them. You don't, you don't reward them at the cost of not rewarding the rest of the player base for, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
If I may interject really quick.
No.
Well, screw you, I'm doing it anyway. So I remember a show on the Travel Channel a long time ago about Vegas, and they were talking about good and bad decisions. And they said that the dumbest bet is betting more than you can afford to lose. I understand that some people can afford to spend as much money as they do, and that's fine. But it happens a lot, especially in free-to-play games like this. Sometimes you can't actually do that. Sometimes you're spending your offspring's college money or rent money or food money on this game. And that's not a wise decision because you are making yourself miserable, and your investment, well, I guess technically, would be due to be lost when, not even when the game dies, when the fleet becomes obsolete, which they're tending to do quicker and quicker, at least on the PvP side. They make these fleets good for a year, but if you built like Rages, well, everyone got the Axiom chain gun, and now there's the Omega gun on top, and your Rage fleets barely lasted a month. And the Courage, well, no, the Courage stays fine, but sloths, they're probably going to be countered as well with some changes soon down the road. So just think about what else you could be buying with your money, and don't spend yourself accidentally or intentionally into a situation you wouldn't want to be in. Mm-hmm. Because Kickside does not care. They will take your money as long as the check's clear, but you might want to get a sense of where you are before the checks stop clearing. Mm-hmm. So be careful.
Well, that was really sound advice, Brian.
I like to bring things to a real, if somewhat terrifying. Oh, thank you. and we're done. Larry's asleep. We are done with the show.
Larry's asleep.
My
What?
my segues my segues are 2 for 2. The Apex Hunter
That was
segue in
wrong.
this one. I'm 100% for the day.
So are you going to buy one of the Amazon Prime chips?
Amazon Prime ships. What?
I don't even have a proper Zelo fleet built
Oh,
for this
never
set.
mind.
No way.
Okay. All right. So you're.
And why don't you?
Because I don't care. Because they suck.
Because it's a loser strategy.
Mhm.
You're
just
stuck.
but you never know what the loser strategy is.
Oh,
That's
I
the
know
part of
it's
the
a loser
problem.
strategy.
It wasn't
It's a long-term loser.
in the generalist targets.
You have-
they're actually the best ones to use.
I'll just refit my Tide Seekers or build Tide Seekers because they build in less time and have better repair efficiency and deal tons of damage and get bloodthirst buffs.
And they're not completely unreactive.
If I can tank all the hits, I don't care that I'm slowed. I will kill them fast.
Yeah,
You have a point. I just don't care.
Okay.
And that slow mechanic.
I'll
I mean,
take that slow for the ability to deal tons of damage.
Yeah, and we saw that the slow ability actually didn't affect your fire rate. It was just your movement. So if you're already at bloodthirst, like in that number 6 target, and you already were at bloodthirst, you don't give a crap. You can go to crawl and just wait for everything to come to you. It was fine.
I mean, the enemy probably outranges you a lot of the time anyway. Or it's close.
I think all the time when you're using the scatters or depth charges, whatever the hell they are.
Especially on Tide Seekers because they have the range penalty, but yeah.
All right.
Larry, you looked at what Holsch is talking about. I haven't had a chance. Is this something we want to talk about or no?
I assume he's talking about that other game.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah,
I wasn't
it's
going to
probably
say anything
it's
about
probably
it.
not,
But that's
because he
something
also
live.
likes to, in the after show us World of Warships. But yeah, this is, somebody's blatantly copied Battle Pirates, at least the initial part of Battle Pirates, and made it
A clone, they call it.
phone tablet game. And if you go to the website, it's I don't know Chinese that well. I wouldn't invest heavily in it. I'm just assuming that at some point they're going to get some lawyers involved with what's going
Well,
on.
if it's based out of China, good luck with that.
I think someone said it's Japan.
If you're gonna copy a game, usually you copy a good one.
Well, look, this was
So
a good game.
they complimented them, right? So it's a compliment, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
If they've got the time to do this.
Yeah. You have reached the level of fame of Chinese ripoff mobile game.
Well, look,
Yeah,
here's the thing.
Good job.
If they've gotten
I
somebody
looked
that
at
did
this.
that, why can't we go back and actually get like the basic code fixed? I mean,
Yeah,
Maybe they have to ask the people that made that game.
What happened if the clone game becomes better than the real game?
Yeah, and
That is a terrifying future.
and I looked at their website, and like I said, half of it's in Chinese, which I don't speak. But then there was also these dress-up games where you put outfits on anime girls, also mixed in there as well. So
Do they just not know what the internet is for, or is that just a
Porn,
thing
right?
they do for fun?
I don't know.
I think they don't know what the
Is that
internet's
a
for, you
different
guys.
app? Is that a different app or something like that?
No, that's every side ad you'll ever get.
Ken is googling the
Yeah,
dress-up
wait.
game.
Put clothes on, anime girl. On.
Yeah. What's going on here?
The exact opposite of what a game usually
wonder
wants to
they're
do.
on
Much
the
like what
reverse.
Pixai is doing with Battle Pirates right
All right. Well,
All right.
we probably reached that
All right, are we
stage
done
of
on
the
air?
evening. We're probably
Am I
reached
setting
that
up
stage of
faux
the
pas
evening
yet?
where. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Larry.
Are we done on the air? Have I said enough faux pas yet?
Yes.
No,
Oh, I
was
blinked
trying
out,
to
but
end the show,
we're
yeah.
done here.
yeah.
We were done
So-
here like 20 minutes ago, which means we're not actually
Oh
done.
no, I think we had some good information. But all right, everybody. We'll see you on Friday. Good luck in the raid, and we'll see if the assets are actually launch from a campaign tower or we're on the map. There's 2 different messages that we've been getting. And I don't know. It should be interesting. The information's been fun to read through, but it's not anything that
I'm calling it now that the Corvette and frigate and that stuff in the tier 7, I think it won't work. Calling it now.
Okay.
Or that you can take anything in there. One of those two is gonna.
Yeah, you can take Conquer. You can take Conquer halls in there.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Alrighty, people. I'll see you Friday. Good luck on the raid, and
Good night, everybody.
Thanks for showing up.
Good night.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Have a good night, people.